Hello and welcome to Healthy Knitting. My name is Rosie, your host. Today is December 29th, 2016. The year is almost over. My Ravelry name is LESPETITS There is a Ravelry group over there, and it's been another little while since I've recorded, but I have some things to tell you, some things to show you, and 2017 is going to be the start of a new year and a new podcast, which we will talk about later. So let's start. Oh my God, so much to show you. iMovie will not open for me, so I am recording on QuickTime. I do not know how this is going to work. I'm hoping that it will upload to YouTube, but at least it's actually recording something. I tried to use my phone, but I couldn't prop it up properly. I have an iPad. I could probably have done that, but it's probably not charged. We're going to fly by the seat of our pants here. So, I have a lot of FOs. I have a few projects that I'm in the works of doing. I have some projects that I'm going to be ripping out and that I have ripped out. And I have new things. I've got spinning. I've got acquisition-y things that I've bought for spinning. I'm so excited to show you some of these things. And there's been some organization. So, this room looks a lot better. Maybe not to you, you can't probably tell. But I had taken everything out and put it all back in, including some of the yarn that I'm not using right now. There's a little bit of a mess right back there because that's getting ripped out. But for the most part, this room is in really good shape. My whole goal for 2017 is to be so organized that I know where everything is. I can get to it easily without having to move 500 things to get to it, because that definitely distracts from my creative impulses. And just to feel comfortable walking in this room, which is now called my creative room, and just being like, I want to do this, and it's easy, because I'm interested in easy. Easy is good, right? Okay, so one of the things that I bought this year to make things easy for me are new knitting needles. I bought the set, the double set of ChiaoGoo 5-inch needles. So it's from 2 to 15 is in this set. This is a lovely, lovely set. I have also 2 sets of Haya, not the sharps. I think the sharps are probably, in my opinion, a little easier to use. But then I have a set of 4-inch ones, which I'm not selling. I was going to sell because the cables drive me a little bonkers. But I'm not going to sell them. I'm actually going to keep them, because after I bought this set, I realized that you can't do small projects. They have a size 4-inch needle that comes with the small cables only, and those are for that purpose. I don't really need a set dedicated just to that. I do have double points. I do have the Hayas, which I can do those small projects with, and the cable doesn't drive me nuts on small projects. It's the big projects that the cable drives me crazy on, because it curls and things don't slide. So I'm going to keep both. And guess what? They all fit in here, which is something I was going to do, was to make a case. I had actually found the pattern online, what I could make it from, and put all of my needles into one place, because they fall out of the Haya. Let me show. Oh, I don't have it with me. It's in the other room. But they fall out, and it's not convenient, and they wouldn't fit in there correctly, and it drove me absolutely bonkers. So in here, I have all of my needles. It's lovely. I love this set. This is one of the best presents that I bought for myself in a while. And the needles are very sharp. So let me show you Haya sharps. These are the Haya sharp. You know what? Let me show you apples to apples. Size 7. The ones over here are the Hayas. Ones here are the ChiaoGoo. They're pretty much identical needles. The only thing is, these are a size 5 and these are a size 5. They're not really. They're a little bigger. And the reason why I went with the size 5 versus I'll show you the size 4. This is the size 4 regular Hayas. Okay. My nails are a mess. Oops. So the tips are not as sharp. You can definitely see that. They're so short though that when I knit, I was bending over the cords, and I was breaking all the joins, and then it made it even more difficult for things to slide over. So when I tried my sharps for the Haya Haya, I got the 5-inch, and I was like, oh, this is great, because it's just at the point where I'm not pushing that through, which is fine. But these are, I almost thought, I was like, did they send me the right thing? But they are substantially longer. But I found that it was okay. I would prefer it if they were the size of the Haya Hayas, but for the way that the cables work, oh my god, I love these. This is the red twist. There are other ones you have to really read carefully when you are purchasing, because I found that some things are mislabeled online, and really pay attention, because the picture is something different than, oh, there's a little bird out here. Picture is different than what was described, and so you might be ordering the bamboo ones, which are substantially less money than the stainless steel, but I love these very much so. The cables are really, they don't bind up on your knitting. When you're knitting, things just kind of flow very nicely. It comes with a connector so that you can connect the two little things so that they don't come on apart. There's a whole little kit here of things that you get. You get stoppers, you get the little pins, kind of like how the Knit Picks has this little key. The Haya Hayas do not have a key. They have like a little rubber thing, and that I found just never held them together well enough for me, and they would always fall apart while I was knitting, even though they have the thing that's supposed to spin. Drove me insane. So I'm using them for very particular things, but I'm keeping them all. And everything with my Haya Hayas double set and this all fits in here, along with some extra crochet hooks that I've put in here, if you can see those. These actually fit in the side pocket, and then I also, or the top, and then I also have other big crochet hooks in this side. I have my signature needles in here, and then I also have it came with this needle guide. I have one in my other container with all of my stuff, but it's nice to just have it right in here. So that's been lovely. It also comes with stitch markers. I sort my stitch markers by how they fit on a needle, and then I sort everything and put it into clips so that it's easy to find. So these are the ones that I made that all fit this size opening. And then I have other ones that fit different openings. And then so these were the ones that came with the colored ones. And they're not like it's plastic, I think. It's kind of unclear what they are, but they're not this hanging ones, my friend made those, but they fit the same size. So there's different sizes, and I found that they work really nice. I really like them. So that was a wonderful thing that I did not know was coming in there when I opened it. So I highly recommend, if you have not checked out the ChiaoGoo needles, to give them a try. I feel that they are very high quality. This little case is so nice. Oops. It holds everything, and I'm not dropping anything out of here, which happened all the time with my other ones. Everything's clear. They're marked on here to tell you what size they are as well. And then there's an extra pocket where I have mine, other ones, right underneath there, so I know what size those are. So fabulous. Very excited about that. One of the other things that I'm doing to keep myself organized with my knitting needles, I'm trying this out. I will let you know how it goes next time we talk. But I have a bunch of bamboo needles, and they are labeled, but you can't see it. I mean, when you use them, you kind of rub it down. It's kind of like not embossed, but the opposite of embossed. It's like pushed in, whatever that word is that I can't think of right this minute. And I can't edit because I don't even know how to use QuickTime. I'm really hoping this works. Anyway, so I'm dipping them into colored inks that I have, and I'm going to see if this will help, because half the time I'm grabbing, there's very similar sizes next to each other. I'm grabbing the same needles. It's also driving me a little bonkers. So this is something that I'm just tried, and I'm going to see if it rubs off on my fingers. If not, then I'm going to dip everything into different colors along I think I have 10 colors, so that I will be able to easily see one next to the other because I have one of these sets here and it's full of cat hair. Oops, and I'm dropping needles all over the floor. It's one of these. Oops. Those were not in there, those were loose. This does actually keep everything in there pretty well, but I took a bunch out to work on a project, and then because it's tricky to see what they are, I didn't put them back in. So that is something that I'm going to be working on, because organization makes things easy when you don't have to figure out 10 minutes what a needle is and get the magnifying glass out. Okay, so that is that. Let me put that right there. So let's start with some projects. I have some that I sent away. You know what? I don't want this to be 5 hours, so I'll just show you the ones that I have here. This, I don't know if I showed you these. I may have, I'm not even sure. This is with Winter Garden, and I probably could go down a needle size. I plan on making these again because I have more yarn, and I might make convertible ones where they're mitts and then there's a piece that comes over. So this is the Axle mitts. My hair's falling out. With Winter Garden. I am a totally loose knitter now, and so these are bulky. I'm going to go down to a 6 and make these again because I made these, which you're not going to see, as a gift and sent them away in another bulky yarn that I had that's very pretty, and I used size 6s and they came out a lot nicer. See how much play I have in here? And this kind of yarn does not have any memory or give, so it's really just kind of sloppy. I think that if I wash them, they'll probably shrink back up, but they're very loose, so I could actually wear a pair of gloves under here and then put these on top if I wanted to. This is that same mitten pattern, size 6, and this is DK weight yarn held together twice. It's Surrey Merino from Blue Sky Alpaca. This is made as a gift. This was a sweater. It is no longer a sweater. I totally did not make that sweater correctly, and it was just not working out. And my friend who I'm making these for is always cold. She has very long, slender hands, and I figured that holding this double, and I love this pattern, it's quick and easy to knit, that this would work out. So you can see I can get them on. They are tight, but I think they're going to be fine. Like, her hands come up this much more than mine, so this is going to be fine. And I made this extra long down here so that it would cover more of her wrist. Obviously you can see that I've not finished. What I need to do is see how big her thumb is, how much longer, so that I know from me how big it needs to be, and I'll find that out tomorrow. So these will be finished. These are a Christmas gift that she's not aware of. Can't show her that. I do have some Christmas knitting. My holiday party is on the 10th. So back to more knitting. Same yarn. I wanted I don't even know if I showed you this, but the Arden hat. Love this hat. I love this style of hat. I really think that most of my hats now are going to be this style, where I make the band and then just go up to the top. It's super easy to make. They're fun. They fit really nice, and I don't think I'm a slouchy hat girl anymore. I just don't think that it doesn't stay on my head very well. But anyway, this is a very pleasant hat. I liked it so much that the mittens I'm making again, another set, are going to be with the same yarn. It's just the same yarn, different color. This one I made just a tad bit bigger, I think one extra row, so that it came down a little bit more, but I really like it. And then I was going a little hat crazy. I have, these are called Vermonter, and honestly, I went to open up Safari and Safari wouldn't open. I'm like, forget it, I'm just gonna podcast. Next year will be better. So this is hand spun, and I can't even remember when I spun it. I knew I had a little more. This is not how the pattern looks, by the way. The pattern is more like this, which is a little bit looser and actually probably a little bit taller, but I made it short because I ran out of yarn. And I knew I had another little bit of it, so I had to decrease, but I couldn't find it. So I decreased a little soon. I held the yarn triple. So you know how you make a crochet chain? If you only have one ball of yarn, you can easily just make that crochet chain to make any single ply yarn a 3-ply together. I mean, obviously you're not spinning it plied, but you're knitting with it 3-plied. I wanted a really warm, super dense, bulky hat, and that's what I made. So it doesn't come down really far unless I really pull it. But it does actually, I went out on a really cold day and I was very happy that I had this hat on. So this is a really cold weather hat day. And then, yeah, then I found the yarn. I was like, really? Could have made it just a little bit bigger. This is it in hand spun as well, but single. And wow, my hair's doing crazy stuff. And so it's a lot looser. This is a woolen spun yarn. And so it's a little, you know, it goes down over my ears, but not as warm, certainly. I mean, the woolen will keep it warm, but not as super, super warm. Okay, so those are the hats. Put those over there. Put that over there. And more hand spun. I was in a little hand spun tear for a while, and all I wanted to do was just knit with the hand spun, which is, I still have a lot that I want to work through. Big bulky yarns. This is a lovely gray yarn that I had a little bit left over, and I was supposed to make the correct cowl pattern, but I didn't read it right, and I started to look down and I'm like, oh, I totally did the cable wrong, and I just kept going with it because I wasn't going to rip out what I had started, so it kind of just snakes back and forth. And when I got to the bottom, I just changed needles to a bigger size so that it would have a little bit more give around my shoulders, and then you can fit a jacket. So why I like cowls is because I want the back of my neck warm and I don't want wind coming in my jacket. So this is why I like these kind of cowls. Okay, we're almost done. Then I think I was knitting on this last time. And this is basically the Gabtastic cowl, but I did not use the garter because I didn't need to, or I didn't, what did I do here? Did I sew this up or did I go on around? I think I did, I don't even know, I'm sorry. This looks like garter stitch, but that I went one round knit and then one round purl. I don't believe that I did not sew this together. I think I just knit this in the round. Yes, because it was driving me absolutely nuts on the old needles. I knit 2 balls. This is Nora Waikato. Don't get this yarn unless you want to lose your mind. I sold some and I'm grateful that I sold it. I never want to work with this yarn ever again, but I have to say I wear this all the time, like every day I wear this. I love this thing. It's a bulky yarn, it's a boucle, but it's not easy to do the stitch because it's so uneven that you have to pull and to make things even and stuff. I mean, you can see the difference in these white bits, which are really pretty, and oh, you know what? I have a bit of this. Oh, I can't reach it. Never mind. I'm sorry. Anyway, it's super warm. I put it on so that it's like over my back, and then I take this part and I twist it over the top, and it can be worn as pretty much a jacket because it's so, obviously this is not coming out right because I'm doing it on in front of you. But I do have a brown coat and it looks very nice on top of the brown coat. So it's really warm and keeps your shoulders and everything kind of nice. And sometimes I wear my hair in a ponytail, and it's nice just to be able to, if I need a quick little pull this over my head because a hat doesn't work with a ponytail. So I love it. I will never make one ever again. This is good enough. Okay, so now for a couple projects that I've ripped out, or that I will rip out, I wanted to show you first. So I've made, I think, 2 or 3 hitchhikers, and I really, really, really enjoyed that pattern. So I also bought the hitch hat and hitch mittens, and I intended exactly to use this yarn from Cascade, which is Heritage 150 Paints, which is enough to make a pair of mittens and a hat, probably more. I have not requested, sorry, my computer just totally shut down. I have not requested from the designer what problem I was having, so I've tried to look at a few people. Nobody said anything. I don't know if it's me or what I'm doing wrong, what I'm reading wrong, but I've already knit this hat, like, this is the third time. Here are the little hitches, and it's a very interesting construction. I enjoyed knitting it, but I really kind of wanted an end result at the end here. So it's in a timeout. It's probably falling off the needles right now. I just looked at it yesterday, and yeah, you're supposed to pick up stitches, and the amount of stitches that are left holes for are not the amount of stitches that it says to pick up. I'm supposed to pick up more than what I had, and so I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And so I went back and did it again, and it didn't work, and I went back, and this time I was like, well, forget it. I'm going to pick up what I have allotted that I'm supposed to pick up, because that's what holes I have. That doesn't work when you get to the end, because you now have to graft it to the end. And had I really thought about it, I would have been like, oh yeah, it's got to match. So when you get to the end, you are grafting all of this together to make the tube for the hat, but I cannot do that because I have a lot more stitches over here than I do on this side. So it's in a timeout. I'm gonna rip it out completely and maybe get in touch with Martina Bem. I believe she's the one that made this. No. Yeah. I think she made this. I'll just see if there's something I'm not looking at correctly or what. So anyway, it's just sitting over here. I wanted to make that last year too, and I never did. And finally I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make it, and it didn't quite work out. So what else I'm ripping out is that poncho. Let me grab the poncho. So this is made, I held 2 yarns together. The pattern is from a book that I'm returning to the library today because I'm kind of ticked off at it, quite honestly. The pattern was not written, hey, it's Buddy. Come here, bud. Look, it's Buddy. The pattern was not written in a way that I easily understood. It was written out instead of just like verbally written out. This much of a whole paragraph of telling you where to put the thing, which could have been done in like just if you wrote it out how we're used to it. And I was just like, what is she talking about? I don't get it. It's confusing. But the other part that's, hello, I'm getting backwards hugs. Hi, put me in. And everybody understands things different, but I'm kind of used to industry standards, and wrapping my brain around that was the biggest pain in the neck too. So I was supposed to have done 3 pattern repeats, and on the third one I'd be stopping here, and I'm supposed to be at 19 inches. So my row gauge is a little off, but still 19 inches. And now I'm supposed to start the collar is not where visually it is on the model either, who is taller than me and has a longer torso. So the instructions don't match. I did decreases as described, so now if I keep going around and around, it's going to wind up being too narrow up here. So I really feel like this whole pattern was not, there were some problems with the pattern. And then I put holes in for my arms, which didn't help matters because I think they should have been a little bit more on the sides, maybe over here and not here, because I like ponchos, but I don't want to be picking my arm up and pulling the whole poncho over when I want to get at something. So I feel like the holes make it a lot more accessible to wear and not make you look crazy by trying to, everything's coming off. The whole idea to wear it is to stay warm and not take it up every time you move your hand. So I have found other ponchos that I'm considering making, and I will look at that. I don't know why I'm into ponchos right now, but I kind of am. Karen might have a little thing to do with that from the Stashless podcast. Thanks, Karen. Anyway, I like the cable. You can't really see it very well in here, but it's easy enough to follow that part, but the whole direction thing was a big pain in the neck, so I'm ripping that out, and I'll do something else. Buddy wants to say hi. You want to say hi, bud? Come here. Buddy's doing well. Hi. What's going on? Look at this face. He's so cute. He's going to come up and put his butt in your face, I'm sure. So what I'm currently working on, I have a pair of half sock, which has been done for years. When I bought my new tiny needle, since I realized that my gauge has just gotten sloppier, that I needed to go down another needle size. But I also realized that I need to extend this toe, so that needs to get ripped out. But I actually started the mate, and it is right here. So that is as far as I've gotten so far. I want to make a pair of socks a month because I don't really have any more left. I have about 4 pairs of socks left, and that's it. And so I really need to get cracking on this. I'm going to finish this sock, and then I have one already picked out in my queue that I'm going to make next, I think. But I'm not sure because I change my mind quite a lot. One of the other things that's on the needles is something I started last night because I didn't feel like doing any more of the mitten. I started the big herringbone cowl, and I don't know who it's by. I'm sorry. I really don't have anything to show you, like how I normally have my iPad, which is probably dead, sitting over there, and my phone is cracked, so you can't really see anything. But this is it so far. Oh, buddy, I can't see, sweetheart. And this is with Eco Cloud. Holy cow, this yarn is gorgeous. I have 3 skeins of it, and I was planning on making a little jacket, and then I think I realized that I wasn't going to have enough. So being that I'm into the winter accessories right now, and I want to knit all my big yarn because it's fast, I started this. And I will say the pattern, if you print it out, it doesn't help you. You really need to just, it didn't help me because it skipped some of the stuff, and I was like, I didn't make any sense. But if you go online and look at the pictures, it's very easy to do this knit stitch. You actually are knitting, it's a free pattern, you're knitting 2 together, but you're only you're dropping the first stitch off and leaving the next one on, and then knitting that with the next stitch. And then when you do it the next round, you are doing the knitting through the back loop, which actually is faster than knitting through the front to slide it off. I found that it was faster. It's a very nice thick fabric. I'm enjoying it. But it is, you know, like you have to watch because you have to make sure you get the right stitch off and leave, buddy, leave the correct one on the needle. So you kind of have to pay attention. I have 3 balls. This is the first ball, and someone else who made this said that their cowl is about 12 inches, and I think that that will probably work out, seeing what I have here and how much I have used so far. So that's exciting. Buddy, honey. Hi. Hello. One of the other things that I was gifted when I saw my lovely friend Irene, we finally got together to say hello, was I got this little notebook. And look at, can you see? It's knitting. So it's knitting cables. It's very exciting, and I love these little notebooks because you can write your notes in them. I tend to not print out patterns very much, but I will write little notes like this. And this tells me, especially when I make 2, where I'm at. When I change something, when I have like a needle size, when I'm decreasing, and I can check off everything that I'm doing so that I can make them match. It's faster for me to do this. Buddy, can you come here? It's faster for me to do this. What are we doing? Than to count the knitting after I've done it on one. So I like these little notebooks. They are tiny enough to fit into any knitting bag. It can fit anywhere you go. So, buddy, can you stop, baby doll? Please. I'm almost done. Okay, so thank you, Irene. Love it. Spinning. I bought another new tool. So I think I told you last time that I wanted to get a blending board. Well, I didn't get the one that I said I was going to get, but I will get that one. I bought from Paradise Fibers. They're 190, so 190, not 90, carding cloth. It's a very fine cloth. So my intention for getting this one was because I do have a whole, this is a, hang on, let me just put this down. Let me just show you. It comes with this sliding thing here so that you can prop it up, and then you can actually use that little keel on your lap to keep it stable as well when you're taking things off. It comes with brushes, it comes with dowels. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and boy does it make like spinning worsted so wonderful. Like these fine fibers that I can't stick in my drum carder because they're too fine, works with the 190. Now I want to get from Fancy Kitty the regular 90 cloth, so that I would use for other things. So I'm not sure. I want to look as well like what my drum card cloth is and see if maybe there's another one that I can get, a different one. So I'm still playing around with that. Don't need it right this minute, so that's good. I have plenty. This whole bag is all full of fine fibered wools and fine fibers, very low microns that I want to blend together and have fun with. So I have super fine alpaca, I have Tessa silk, you can't see that, Tessa silk, I have a bunch of things, here's a whole pile of yak, and blending them together brings out some really nice qualities of both things. So one of the things that I blended first was something that my friend gave me, carbonized bamboo, and I had regular bamboo, and I blended that together and I made this. And that's all of it that I had of the carbonized bamboo. So all of that went and blended with this, which I wouldn't have been able to really blend with other nice fine fibers on my drum carder, and it was really fun. There's not a lot of give in here because there is no give in these. There's no crimp in this at all. The bamboo and the bamboo. So, but I have some ideas for things that I'm going to make with all of my little skeiny projects like this. The next thing that I had was some llama that I don't even know where I had it from, but I had this multicolored poof of gray and brown and all these beautiful colors, and it was a mess. I mean, there was veg matter, there still is a little bit, you can see it right there, but I made these little ponies. This was like one of my first things that I went through. So this pony is really big, but then I realized, well, maybe I'll just make them smaller. And then I spun one of them into this, and this is like, you can't even feel it. It's light as air, and it's poofy. You see all the colors in there. It was multicolored, just interactive mess. No idea where I got this from. None. I have no idea. But that will be fun, and we'll make something. I should be able to make a lot of something. These, even though there's not a lot here, a little goes a long way, and they poof up when because it's worsted, it's going to poof up when you do the finishing. So one of the other things that I spun just the other day, I had I had Shady Side fine wool 50% and yak 50%, and I blended that with some bamboo the rest of that bamboo that I had. Yeah, I don't know if I have any more of that bamboo. I might. And this is what I got. And now what's interesting about this is that the yak and the wool really poofed up where the bamboo did not. So you can kind of see where things got really poofy when I washed it. And it's just, again, light as a feather, and it's so warm. I am going to have so much fun with this blending board. It's ridiculous. I mean, look at how pretty. I'm excited about it. So one of the other things that I blended was, and these look like candy to me. They're so exciting. Baby camel, cashmere, silk, and yak down. Oh, and dark yak, not yak down. Look at it. This feels like a baby's bottom. It is so incredibly soft. I'm so excited to spin this. I mean, it's just so fun. Looking out the window, why is that like that? It was snowing a little bit earlier, but it's kind of warmed up a bit. The fun thing about this is that you're not committed to a big, huge project. It's only, I think, a 12 by 12 square, so, and you can fit quite a lot on there. I mean, I have not weighed these, but, you know, if you do 2 of these, you probably have enough to make a shawl. 2 bundles of these. So it's not like you need a lot. It's pretty crazy, because you can do some fun spinning with these. And in the woolen method, it's light as a feather. I mean, I'm so excited to share this with you and make some things this year that are going to be really fun. The other thing that I did last night was I made these. Now you can see all these little neppy things. This was a pain in the neck to spin. This is Angora and wool, I believe, that I bought from Finger Lakes Woolen Mill, and I really like their, or no. I think this was also from Little Barn. I don't remember. I would have to look it up, which is me getting it more organized. But it was a really big pain in the neck to spin because the fibers were not the same length. So that's one of the other things that you want when you're blending. You want to blend things that are the same fiber length. So if you're blending silk with something, you want to cut the silk to match the length of the fibers that they're going with. Just keep that in mind if you're blending things. So I was kind of hoping that maybe if I did it this way, it'll be a nubby yarn because of all the neps and stuff like that's in this, but it will still be more consistent, because seriously, spinning this is like so easy, it's ridiculous. It really is. I'm just dropping stuff on the floor. So we'll see what happens with this. I did spin some, and I made, that's what I made, another cowl. It was just a basic cowl. It was white fiber that I made, and it's not anything fancy. It just gets bigger and wider. But I think I used this yarn that I made into yarn, and it was totally crazy, because sometimes it would come out thin, and it would come out really fat, blah, blah, blah. So we'll see what happens with this. This might be mittens, who knows. That is it for spinning. Is that it for the stuff? Oh, so I've been trying to look for some new podcasts, because some of the podcasts that I have been listening to either aren't as frequent, or they've kind of done what I've done and like kind of leave, come back. So they're not consistent. But I wanted to I know there's a whole bunch of new podcasts out there. So there's a whole bunch. I don't remember their names, because I just found them and I was like, oh, I can participate in this thing. So there's this, and I'm not a knit along type of person, but I'm going to try this because it seems like it's fun. It's like knitting on 7 continents. And so January, they're starting out with knitting from yarns from Australia and New Zealand. And I actually have yarn from Australia or New Zealand. I'm not sure. I think this might be from New Zealand. It is Zelana's Kia Ora. And this is called Rimu, and it's a blend, if I'm saying that correct. It's a blend of 60% merino and 40% possum. I have 2 of these. Oh, are you going to focus? Sorry, the light's a little weird. I have 2 of these, and I've been wanting to knit with them for quite a while. I had a project picked out that I was going to make, and then when I was looking at it last night, I was like, not sure if that's really the project that I want to make with this or not. So I'm going to, oh shoot, that's what I have over there. So I'm going to take a better look at that and see what else I might want to make with this yarn. But you knit for the month of January, I don't even know if you have, I don't know the whole rules. I don't even know. All I know is it has to be from New Zealand. So does it have to be started and finished? I don't even know. So the other thing I did, oh goodness, sorry. Oh God. Okay. This is the wool that from White Barn Farm. Yeah. And it's Cormo. It's not in Ravelry. Thinking of actually editing it in there. But this is the stuff that I dyed. And I dyed it kind of crazy. And so I did a little swatch to see what I liked, how I liked the stitch pattern, what it was going to look like, maybe knitted up in different things. So the bottom is stockinette, then I've got garter, then I've got moss stitch, and I really just like the plain old stockinette. I'm going to make convertible mittens with these, and I have enough. I might even have enough for some extra stuff. So that is going to be, I've looked up a bunch of patterns. There's a whole bunch of fingering patterns out there. There are some patterns, but I think I'm just going to wing it a little bit and make up my own pattern. I want the thumb to come off, and I want like glove pieces up to here, and then the mittens. I don't want it just to be like open, because I feel like that opening probably added a little too much air, and maybe it would be better if there were fingers in there a little bit. So that's going to be coming up. I did not start the blanket. The whole project is still in the bag there, and I'm going to work on that in January, kind of like figure that out what I want to do, and I'll start that then. I don't think it's going to take very long, because I like knitting small pieces and then putting them together. I just need to figure out how I want those pieces to be, and then can really get cranking on that, because it's small. You can take it anywhere. I plan on always having knitting in my purse, no matter where I go. So socks or blanket pieces. Oh, and then of course, there's another podcast called The Dabbling Shepherdess. So she had this pinwheel blanket thing that she's doing with scraps, and I have a whole bunch of back. I'm going up in there is all hello buddy, backwards hugs, come here bud. Up in there, where are you baby? Up in there is a bunch of hand spun that are small amounts, and a lot of it is fingering weight. It's all yarn that I had maybe like I bought an ounce to try what that fiber was like and things like that. And so I think that might go really well, and maybe just make another like a lap blanket type thing. So when you're sitting down and you want just a little something on you, I can't really figure out what else to do with all of those bits and bobs, because they don't really go together, but they would go together in this type of pinwheel blanket. If you have a second to look up pinwheel blanket, there are some cute ones on there. Granted, one more blanket. I don't know. Just seemed like it would be fun. Because I do have a lot of little pieces of things, and I can add other stuff in there as well. So I just need to like figure that out a little bit more, see if that's gonna stay jazzed with me or not, because sometimes I get an idea and I'm like, oh, it'd be really fun, and then it kind of fades out, and then the next amazing thing comes in and it's on and off the needles in no time flat. So what else I was talking about the sweater that I wanted to make, and I did do this much of a swatch, and I'm finding out that I think it's going to work out just fine. Buddy, what do you think? I'm getting the gauge, although I know this is tiny and it shouldn't represent a large piece of what is going on. I think it will be fine, and I just need to order that sweater and then get that going. Buddy, so for next, that's all I kind of have in the spinning and knitting kind of stuff going on. For 2017, I plan on being extremely organized. Like I said, this room's ready. My basement is not. I ordered stuff for my closet, so everything that was in my closet is out of my closet. I'm patching up some holes. I'm going to paint the whole thing so it looks beautiful. That should be arriving next week. It's a Rubbermaid 3 to 6 foot closet thing, and that's going to be awesome. I ordered boxes that drawers that open up for my shoes, because my shoes always get dusty in my closet, and then it's gross, and then I can't find stuff, and so organization is going to be extremely key for me. And I'm really happy. Today I did the bathroom closet, and I did my pantry and the kitchen. I still need to do my whole kitchen, buddy. So I feel like I'm getting there. I feel like I'm almost ready. You know, the bedroom obviously is not going to be done until the stuff comes in, which will be the first week of January, but I will get the kitchen done before that. I have, not today, it's already 1:30. I'll start it tomorrow, and I'll get the kitchen done. And I only have one thing left to do in the living room as well, because that I organized that, took everything out and washed and put everything back together. Love it. I love when things are, everything you want is stuff that's around you. The stuff that you don't want, you need to find a new home for it. Because I feel like we really hang on to things for no reason that are not helpful, or are just taking away from something that we might really want. So, buddy, so funny. And just being mindful of what I bring into the house, and when something no longer serves its purpose with me, I will find a new home for it, and not necessarily throw it out. If it's still good, I'm going to give it away and find a new home. So I find that to be very helpful. I actually, the other day, I was saying I have a magnifier glass, which I use for my knitting needles most of the time because I can't read what it says on it. The Hiya-Hiyas, they're labeled, but if it's not natural sunlight, even if it's a light, it bounces off of it and then I can't see it. So my friend was saying to herself, oh, I need to go out and get a whole bunch of DMC floss and all this stuff. She wants to work on this project, and she wanted the magnifier thing, and a friend's mother had died a while ago, and he was like, oh, I don't want all this stuff, take it. And so she had 3 of those magnifiers. Guess what I got? A magnifier. And not only that, it's hands-free. So it's actually perched right here on my ledge, and I can bend it down and use it as I need it. It's out. It's lovely. I'm so excited. So giving yourself the opportunity to want some things, and keeping yourself organized so that you know what you have, and finding a home for something that you no longer want because someone else might want it is really, really beautiful. So that's my plan for 2017. And I wanted to share that with you. Those type of things I'm going to share with you, what works, what has worked for me, some ideas that I have to help people stay organized. And next year, the podcast is no longer going to be healthy knitting. I'm not even sure if I'm going to pull them all down. I'm not sure. I don't do healthy tips anymore. Life is just all about having fun, and that's really where my podcast, where I want it to be. I haven't thought of a name for it. I'll probably be a little more organized and formatted, and I'm not going to go crazy and say I'm going to do show notes, but I might. I'm not sure. I haven't really figured all of it out quite yet. Sorry, I'm trying to make a little room for Buddy. So one of the other, actually, you know what, I'll wait till next year to show you, because I bought some more things that help me stay organized with my my art supplies and things like that, and I'm going to bring some new things in. Sorry, something is flying around here. It's like flying right at my nose. I bought some more things that are coming with that shipment of stuff for the shoes. It's like a little drawer, and I'm going to put it in here. And when I'm all set with that, then I'll show you what all of that looks like, and maybe show you some other organizational things that I've done. But that'll be for 2017, because I'm not really ready to do all that today, especially since I don't even know if this is going to be uploaded. Anyway, one of the other things that I do is I started a manual type calendar. I still use for any type of appointment. I use it on my phone because it will ding and remind me. But little things that I want to do, I'm not putting in my phone anymore. I found that I wasn't using it. It wasn't as helpful, and it just wasn't getting utilized as much. And so I've been using the calendar for, I don't know, maybe 5 months now, trying to figure out the best way to make this work for me. Now, you've probably seen bullet calendars and bullet journals and things like that. And that the idea of that kind of works for me, but in some ways it didn't. And the reason why it didn't work was because I get confused then if I can't see things in some kind of like order. And I like to be able to move things around. I don't want to have to see something that I don't want to see anymore because I want to rip it out. That's just me visually. If it's not interesting to me or helpful anymore, I don't even want it in there. And so these little calendars actually come apart. You can buy these rings separate in a hole punch and make your own, or I bought this on sale at Michael's, like 50% off, so it wasn't expensive. And when I'm done, I'll show you what a page looks like. Buddy, can you move over just a tad? Thanks. Okay, let me just show you something I haven't written in. So as easy as it is to pop in is as easy as it is to come out. So you just pull it out, right? Super easy. And it goes back in just as easy as well. There are pages with the tabs. You get a whole month layout. I'll show you that. So I just pop that back in. So you get the whole month layout, which isn't very important for me visually, and that's not really something that is in the bullet journals. Like if I know I have something coming up, I really want to visually see where it is. I'm visual in that way for organization, and if I don't see it, I forget it, which is the reason why I'm doing my closet over, because there's clothes I have, I don't even use them because I don't even remember that I have them because they're like smushed. So for me, and the other thing with the art supplies, if I can't get at it easy, I'm not going to use it. So that's something that, you know, and you have to look at what's important to you, but that's what's really important for me, being able to see it and get at it. A month view is something I really, really need to see. It's important to me. Then they have the week ones, and you can still use them like a bullet journal. There's 3 sections in one day, and I've broken them down using them for morning, noon, and evening. And when my evening's blocked off, I just write the time and then an arrow, so I know that I'm not going to be doing anything else. If I have a task that's set, like there's a little section for notes over here, and I easily write down some of the things that I'd like to do for the week, and then when I see if I have time in the day, I can write that for that day. And so it's kind of like I am transferring it. It's in there twice. If I don't finish it that day, I put an arrow like you do for the other thing, and I'll put it over onto the next day. So it's very similar to bullet journaling, but I feel like visually I like this, and I don't have to make it as well. And I can pull pages out. So when I'm finished with these, like I'll always keep the big calendar in there, because I find that that's still very helpful to see if I needed to know when I had done something before that was a big thing, and so that's still there. But the week ones, then what I'll do, I have a notebook that is just graph paper, and I attach the graph paper, 4 pieces of glue, and it's the graph paper's on there, and I can write whatever I want. And then when that piece of paper no longer suits me, I can pull that graph paper off and put a new piece of graph paper on, so I'm not wasting. And the pages are very sturdy because they're made with that. The graph paper would not be sturdy if I punched holes in it and stuck it in, I don't think. It's a little thinner quality of paper, and this way I have more room, and I can write. I have little tabs for little sections, and so now, oh, that was my phone again. I keep dropping my phone. I have sections, so really quick, these are the ones that I wanted to get done before the end of the year. And I've circled the ones that I still need to do, and I've crossed off the ones that I have done. So I think it's very helpful for me to be able to organize like that. And then at the beginning of the month, I have a list of the things that I would like to have happen in the month. And I also have a whole list of things that I would like to have happen for the year. And it's one's on the left, and then January is right here. So I can kind of keep moving things around, always keeping in mind the big stuff that I want to have accomplished, looking at what I want to do for January, and then as I'm going through January, I find the time in my slots to take care of these things. A lot of times you'll find that things will magically happen if you write them down. You don't even have to focus too much on like worrying that I don't have enough time to get it done, because you don't always have to get it done, but sometimes things just have a way of working out, kind of like, oh, I need a magnifying glass and some DMC, and then being given 3 magnifying glasses and so much DMC floss that it took us 4 hours to sort it all. Yeah, that's what happens. So anyway, everybody has a different way of doing things, and it's just kind of interesting to see someone else's take on it. And this has kind of taken me about 4 months to kind of figure out exactly how I wanted to use my book, but I'm really finding that writing things down and having the extra pages and movable pages is really working out very nice for me. It's fun now. You know, I don't feel I have sections for art and things that I want, like ideas. Ideas are really great to write down, and having a place where it can be sorted, where you can see it and find it easily, is the part that I didn't think that the bullet journal was working for me, having stuff that wasn't relevant in the way. So that's it. Buddy, who are you staring at? Buddy's so cute. No, keep your face this way because it's cute. It's cuter in the camera than the back end. I'll take the back end. So I don't know what the podcast is going to be called. I'll probably post it in the Healthy Knitting group. I might even make a little blurb of it here in case somebody has subscribed. I don't know how many subscribers I have. I don't know how people, I have no idea. I don't look at any of this stuff. I don't see it. I don't even know. I just don't know. I'm technologically not as good as I should be. I'm never on Facebook anymore. Instagram every once in a while, but I do plan on posting more stuff on Instagram because I think it's a lot more fun of a forum than Facebook is. I kind of find like the reason why I went off Facebook and I didn't really play there very much was because it was just, I don't know, not as much fun. I think that the photo, and it's usually a fun photo and it's usually something fun that you want to share. Facebook is all sorts of weird stuff that people are sharing, and so it's not as great of a venue. But I do like the idea of Instagram, so I think it's rdages at Instagram is where I'm at. If you want to follow me there, I will be probably post a little thing there to let people know. But it's going to be fun. I'm focusing on the fun stuff. I'm focusing on wanting things that I want to share that I feel that are fun. I get most of my inspiration from watching other podcasts, which is something that I plan on doing a lot, which is why I wanted to find some more because I really didn't have a lot. I've decided that Project One Ray is over now, which I love. So January is going to be no TV except for podcasts. Podcasts and listening to things that are fun. Fun is good. So anyway, that's the scoop. That's what's happening. So be on the lookout. I'll probably be podcasting bi-weekly because that is easier for me. Every week would feel like more of a chore, and I really want this to stay positive and fun. And, oh, look, I framed some more of those little art pieces. I framed a lot of stuff the other day and over the last month. I totally get sidetracked. Frame your art, people. Put it up on the walls. Put it everywhere. Enjoy it. Yes, buddy. So that's the scoop. I will see you next year with a fresh start and fresh things to talk about, new inspirations, and a whole bunch of happiness. So thank you very much for watching, and that is the end of Healthy Knitting.